for stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Morning. We have something a little different today. I asked Kim Hall from the Office on Aging to come in and talk about some of the services that this organization gives. I personally feel that it's the most underused facility for old people because everybody has this misconception that you need to show a need to get the services from these people. And nothing could be further from the truth. When I retired, I volunteered at the Beaver County Office on Aging for a while. And a lot of the problems that I handled were from people that just couldn't afford to hire legal assistance and get the right advice. But you don't need to show a need financially. They do everything from elder abuse, health insurance, a whole host of things. And what I asked Kim Hall to do, she's one of the administrative assistants in Allegheny County Office on Aging, is to come in and give us a broad spectrum of what they do. If there's a subject that you want to know more about, she has agreed to come back and get into that subject. She's been with them since 1987 and has probably worked in every department in the organization. It's completely funded by federal and state money and the lottery. So with that, let's give a warm welcome to Kim.
Can you hear me? There we go. Okay. Let me just get situated here. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Jerry, for that introduction. I am just so pleased to be here because I just enjoy getting out to the community and talking to any group that will have us, but especially here because this is my community, sort of. I actually live across the river in Crescent Township, and I've lived there for the past 25 years. And I always like to come and talk to this area in particular because it is an area that seems to be underrepresented in the aging network. I'll be the first to say that. It's a hard area. There are some challenges geographically here that we have a hard time serving sometimes. In preparing for today, I was looking at some of the resources that are specifically in this community as far as the senior centers and the adult day centers and our home delivered meals and support groups. And I was struck again by how little in comparison to other areas of the county there is here. So we have to work a little bit harder to get services, I think, and be knowledgeable about those services and maybe travel a little bit further. So for me, it's something that I hope to work on in my continued role as the Deputy Administrator for Allegheny County Area Agency on Aging, to broaden what we do in this particular area. I plan to stay here. I plan to grow old here. I am growing old here, but I plan to grow older here, so I want to be able to access the services just as any of you might want to be able to do. As Jerry mentioned, I started my career with Allegheny County back in 1985. I started working for children and youth and decided that wasn't my thing. So I moved to aging in 1987 and found my home. I have worked in many areas across the agency. I've started as a care manager. I worked as a supervisor, an assessor, a department head, and then about a year ago I was promoted to the Deputy Administrator. So I come with many years of experience and knowledge, and I really hope to share that with you today. My focus as the Deputy Administrator really is to assure that the Area Agency on Aging services all older adults, regardless of financial. I think it is a big misconception that you can only access services from the Area Agency on Aging if you demonstrate a financial need or you fall at or below the poverty guidelines. That is so not true, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. The goal is really to also serve on a continuum of care. So I think the other misconception is that you have to be extremely needy as far as your health and your ability to function. And our goal is really to serve older adults that are on that continuum of care, from the very young older adult to the very old older adult, the older adult that needs very little and wants to just enrich their lives in some way, to the older adult that really is dependent on somebody to provide related to older adult services, or actually any type of service. So make sure to grab that. Our information is in there and it's on the brochure. And then I brought just some giveaways, some like little canisters of like wet wipes that you can keep in your car that everybody can use. I said, find me something that men will like, because I'm going to talk to an all men's group. Like, I can't take a sewing kit, or I can't take, so this is the best thing that I could come up with. So please take one, because I don't want to carry them back. So what services are available? There's a lot of services, and this is the menu, but it's really not limited to the services listed above. These are the most commonly used services, and I'm going to go through some of the highlights of some of these. So the agency provides personal care to individuals that are living in their home and need to have somebody actually come and help them with their bathing, help them with their dressing, maybe prepare a meal, that type of thing. Home-delivered meals. Assessment of needs, so sometimes individuals just ask for an assessment to determine what they might be eligible for, program-wise, or for placement, whether they want to go to a personal care home, or they want to go to assisted living, or maybe need long-term care in a nursing facility. We offer service coordination with individualized care plans. We have a caregiver support program that actually we'll talk a little bit about, because it's also a great hidden resource. Health insurance counseling through a prize, enrollment assistance for some of our programs, legal counseling, as Jerry mentioned, volunteer opportunities. So if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, we might be able to hook you up. I see that you all do volunteerism here. I was on your website and I saw some of the things that you're doing and the projects that you work on, and I think that's wonderful. So I applaud you for that. We offer adult day services, which is basically for maybe a daughter or son is caring for an older adult and they are still working and they need to have care 8-10 hours a day. Some of the best solutions to that would be an adult day service, where your individual that you're caring for could go out and spend the day in an adult day setting. Did some research. The closest one to you, there's one in Ambridge, Valley Care. It's actually a very nice facility. And there used to be one in Moon on Charrington Parkway, but they just recently closed. So you're down to really one close by resource for adult day services. Otherwise, you're going into Bellevue or you're going into like the North Hills, which I realize isn't that far away, but you don't really have anything right in your community. Senior centers. Same thing. Senior centers serve active older adults. And again, nothing in your community, or nothing really close to your community. Probably the closest doing some research again is in Bellevue, up in the north. You've got one in Imperial, but there's nothing in this community. But I think you're fortunate that you have the Y and you have this organization to get some of those same benefits from, because it sounds like, based on your website, that you do a lot of different activities as well. So, you're meeting that need in the way that you found to be able to meet that need, but we would certainly like to be helpful. Older Adult Protective Services, we're going to talk a little bit about that and how you make a referral to that if you know of somebody that might be of need. Senior companions to individuals that are isolated in their homes and wish for a friendly visitor. We do farmers market vouchers once a year, just passed in June. It's every June where we distribute 4 $5 vouchers to any older adult that does demonstrate a financial need, but it is a pretty liberal financial criteria that has to be met. So a lot of seniors that think they're not eligible are actually eligible, so they can get $20 of vouchers and go out to any farmer's market and use those vouchers to purchase, fresh fruits and vegetables to encourage healthy eating. We also do some work with housing assistance for individuals that are either homeless or are finding that they can no longer live in their 2 or 3 story home, right? Pittsburgh and this area is known for homes that are multiple floors with many, many steps, and it becomes difficult as we get older. So individuals might be looking to go into a senior high-rise or into some type of a senior living setting, and we can help with that. Transportation services. We are very connected with transportation services at the Area Agency on Aging, and can talk with you a little bit about that. And of course, our information hotline, which we already talked about, that 350 number. So housing support, just to mention briefly, we do keep current a housing information guide for senior adults. And it provides information on personal care homes, assisted living, public housing options, senior apartments, and other housing in the community. So if you have a housing need or you feel like you know somebody that does, direct them to our agency. We can connect with them. We have a housing specialist. We can give them literature, resources. We can talk with them and help them through that particular issue. Transportation. Anybody familiar with Access? Have you heard about Access? Okay. So Access 65, it's a shared ride service for all destinations in Allegheny County. The number's there. The number will be in that book up front, the resource guide. It's, like I said, a shared ride system for individuals that can't drive anymore and want to still be able to get around. There's also a medical assistance transportation program for individuals that are enrolled in Medicaid. It's free transportation for non-emergency medical appointments. Access you can use for medical, you can use for social, you can use for anything you want. And then there's older persons transportation, which is connected to our area, to the Area Agency on Aging's. It's also a shared ride service for senior center trips, shopping, and some medical trips for individuals 60 and plus. So 3 great options. You also, have the option of public transportation, Port Authority, with your Medicare card that you can ride the bus and for free. And I understand that you no longer have to ride during certain hours, that you can ride anytime during the day, and you don't have to pay for transportation as a senior in that way. Insurance counseling. This is a really good benefit because insurance is so complicated and it's always changing. So there's free health insurance counseling through an organization that we have a contract with, a prize, and they provide Medicare, Medicaid, long-term care insurance counseling, and Affordable Care Act counseling. And there's no financial criteria for seeking out assistance from a prize. And they're volunteers, but they are overseen by somebody that's very experienced in the insurance arena. And the volunteers are very skilled and knowledgeable, and they can help you choose, they won't make recommendations, but they can certainly help you think through how to make a good choice for yourself regarding insurance, especially for those individuals that are just new to Medicare and are trying to find the best plan for them. So this is a great resource, and they are also in the resource guide that you're going to take home with you today. Senior centers. I mentioned this a little bit ago, and I mentioned that, while you don't have one very close to your community, there are some that you can access, and the senior centers act as an intake and assistance arm of the Area Agency on Aging as well. And in doing that, they'll do voter registration for us, they'll do the legal counseling. We have a contract with Neighborhood Legal Services, and the Neighborhood Legal Services representatives cycle through the different senior centers throughout the year, so individuals that might need some legal counseling at no charge are able to access through the senior center. They will do intake and referrals for us. They provide nutritious congregate meals, so a lot of individuals will go to the senior centers for a meal to have their lunch and socialize, because otherwise they'd be eating alone and not having anybody to talk with. Health and wellness activities. We have a lot of performance-based activities going on through our senior centers. It's no longer about bingo. We have exercise programs, healthy steps programs, fall prevention programs, nutrition programs that are being offered through the senior centers. They'll do applications for transportation services. They offer creative arts and education programs. So it's a wide array of services, and you can go to the senior center and do as much or as little as you'd like. It's totally your choice. You can go 1 day or 5 days, whatever you choose. So it's geared toward maybe a more active senior that can, that's mobile, able to get out in the community. Definitely doesn't have to be able to drive themselves there. They can use access transportation to go, but it is something that is encouraged for seniors to stay social and not isolate. As we talked about, some of the activities are physical fitness, legal assistance, transportation, volunteer, outreach. They do trips, just like your organization does. So, there's a wide variety of different things that you can do. We talked a little bit about the legal counseling through the Neighborhood Legal Services Elder Law Project. That's all done through the senior centers, and freely eligible, but they want to stay at home. This program is very income-based. It is a Medicaid program, so you have to qualify for Medicaid in order to get these services, but it is a very intense program. We have individuals under this program we have a few individuals that get 24/7 care under this program. Now that's not common, but it can be something that we do if there's an individual that demonstrates that need. It's administered through the Office of Long-Term Living at the state level, and they contract with 3 managed care organizations, UPMC, of course, AmeriHealth Caritas, which is new to our area for this particular service, and PA Health and Wellness. Those are the 3 organizations that actually provide service for the Community Health Choices Service Coordination Program. I always like to tell people about this just because I don't think many people know that you can get pretty intense services if you need them, but again, I want to be careful in saying that you do have to qualify in 2 ways. Nursing facility clinically eligible, and having met the requirement for medical assistance income guidelines. This is just the menu of services, which you'll see are similar to the options community-based services. The difference really is in the intensity, how often somebody might get services. And of course, with either of our programs, we always build around what the natural supports are. So for options or our service coordination programs, we build around natural supports. The Area Agency on Aging is not meant to come in and replace what you already have in place. So if you have family members that are assisting. We want them to stay in and assist, but we'll build around them to make sure that you have as much coverage as you need in services. And we work with what your goal is. You want to stay at home, we want to support you and help you stay at home. So you set the goal and we work with you to accomplish that goal. There's also the LIFE programs. Now these are not Area Agency on Aging programs, but we always talk about them when we come out to give a presentation. These are also Medicaid waiver programs, so everything that I said for service coordination is true to these programs, but they operate across Allegheny County. There's a lot of different campuses for both Life Pittsburgh and Community Life. They're the same program, they're just administered through two different entities, and it's truly based on zip code. But in this LIFE program, they will send people into your home to help with assistance, but they really want to try to get you out to the adult day center, up to 5 days a week, and provide all of your care comprehensively there. So it's just a little bit of a different model. Older Adult Protective Services. I'm going to just grab a drink of water here. So one of our missions, and one of the things that we're tasked for is to provide older adult protective services in our county. You have live 24/7 assistance to answer any questions and take reports on abuse, neglect, self-neglect, and financial exploitation. So the criteria for a valid report is that the alleged victim is 60 and over, and the abuse is within the PA jurisdiction. There's no responsible caretaker, the victim's incapacitated, and this last one, imminent risk of danger to person or property. So, reports come in, and this is how they're measured and determined as far as whether an investigator will go out and investigate that report. Reporters can remain anonymous, which I think is good to know, because a lot of people might hesitate if they feel like they have to disclose who they are when they're calling. You may have something happening in your family, you may have something happening on your street, and you don't want to jeopardize that relationship, so you may choose not to call. But if you can remain anonymous, you might be more willing to call. The number for Older Adult Protective Services is 412-350-6905. We encourage you to call if you have any concerns for anybody in your life and in your circle. If you see something, say something, call us, and we'll take the lead there and investigate. There's many different forms of older adult abuse. It's more common than you think, and it's up to us to make sure that we keep our older adults safe. So, this is always something that we want you to be aware of. We have an ombudsman program. Now, this mainly is administered in nursing facilities across Allegheny County. Ombudsmen provide advocacy for consumers that are residing in nursing facilities and personal care homes, and on some level, individuals that are receiving home and community-based services in the community. They'll step in and they'll provide conflict resolution, long-term care counseling. We have volunteer ombudsmen, so there's a volunteer opportunity in this respect if you have an interest in going out to see people in facilities. And it's very much a quality assurance measure that monitors the licensing, or monitors the licensed long-term care facilities. So if you're not licensed, we can't get involved. But if you are licensed, there is an assigned ombudsman to every licensed facility across Allegheny County. So if any of you have individuals in nursing facilities, or you have that experience down the road, when you walk into a nursing facility, it should be clearly posted, or a personal care home, it should be clearly posted who the ombudsman is for that facility. And if there's any concerns that you have for your person, your loved one, you can call the ombudsman, and they will get involved, and they will get out to that facility, and they will, I don't want to say investigate, but they will research what the complaint is and try to advocate for your loved one. So it's an important service, and they're very busy. We have a nursing transition program too, where we have individuals that may be in nursing facilities and wish to transition home. So the goal here is to develop a safe discharge plan and set up some long-term services and supports, for a senior who wants to come home and not go back into a nursing facility. This really doesn't have any income criteria because you can transition out of a nursing facility with service coordination community health services under the Medicaid program, or you can transition out without and receive our help. So it's pretty wide open for anybody that might need some help with transitioning from a nursing facility. So as we're talking, I hope that you're getting that the Area Agency on Aging is not just about older adults being put in nursing homes. The theme here is that we help in the community. We want to help you stay in the community. That's our goal. Our goal is your goal. So, I think it's just a big misconception that we're just all about putting people in nursing homes. That's very little of what we do, and that's always based on the choice of the individual. We have a new program at the Area Agency on Aging called Community Care Transitions. And interestingly enough, I spent my day yesterday shadowing a community care transitions coach because it's a new addition to my responsibilities, and I wanted to learn what they do. And I was really, really impressed. So these coaches go out to hospitals that are in the Allegheny Health Network right now, and they provide coaching to individuals that are at high risk for readmission and high utilizers of services. So the ultimate goal, of course, is to, reduce cost for these individuals, but our goal is to improve quality of life and help them stay, in the community where they want to be. So it's a pretty intense program. Older adults, of course, are high have high utilization of services, and they're at risk for frequent admissions, in and out. Certain diagnoses that are targeted: diabetes, congestive heart failure, heart disease. So those are the things we look at, and those are the individuals that we help try to coach and keep in the community through maybe nutrition programs, making them aware of referral resources, scheduling doctor's appointments for them to make sure that they get to their follow-up appointments, medication management. It's something that's trending right now. This is where a lot of the insurance companies are very interested. So we feel lucky to be involved in this new trend and direction in services. Domiciliary care. Did you know that the Area Agency on Aging does adult foster care? So we're mandated by the state to do it. So for individuals that are unable to live alone and willing to live in a family-style setting, there are domiciliary care homes across Allegheny County that will serve individuals 18 and over who have a physical or mental disability. And older adults are included in that scope. One of the key factors, though, is they have to be independently mobile or self-mobile to be able to reside in this type of setting. And they basically need some supervision or assistance with activities of daily living. Yes?
Are you going to have a point for questions?
Yes, absolutely, at the end. Are we running over? We're almost done here. Okay. I'm going to pass that up here. So in summary, when an older adult's completely independent or needs some help, either or, we can point you to resources and programs to meet your needs. Senior Line, 412-350-5460. How about that? So I'm happy to take questions, yes.
All right. I've been a member of the community here for about 25 years, and I've never heard of your organization. So that may be one reason why you haven't heard some of us, okay? It's not on?
It is.
Okay, all right. So I guess from my standpoint, the list of services you provide is more than intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I would have Do I call you just because I get up in the morning? You seem to offer so much, yet I've never heard of you.
Right?
So, from my standpoint, that answers your question as to why you haven't heard much from this community.
And I think we have some work to do in that area, obviously. Unfortunately, our funding is very limited. And the funding that we get, we certainly want to apply toward serving older adults. So when, at the end of the day, there's not a lot of money available to do like the outreach, and we rely really on our own network to do that. And as I said, any opportunity I get to come out and speak, I'm there because I want to educate. But I would say, too, to that point, is what we do find is that a lot of older adults wait until they're in crisis to call the Area Agency on Aging because they don't know that there's all these other things that are available to them. So we need to work better and harder at that. I agree.
I belong to, and my wife and I belong to Lifespan
Okay.
in Imperial. The one thing we knew about the access and the old
Older adult, or older person's transportation.
Right. But we've never heard anything about any of these other services through Lifespan.
Like the legal counseling?
Exactly.
Okay.
None of that has ever been presented to the people. And the one thing that I find, you have the lunches at Lifespan, and after lunch, everybody leaves.
Really? The lunch is the big draw.
I mean, and it's hard in the afternoon to find any place to do any socialization is my point.
Okay. So maybe expanding on what we're doing at the senior centers,
Exactly,
it sounds
yes.
like. Well, I'm glad to hear you belong to Lifespan, and you go, that's one of the senior centers, and that's one of
Right.
our newest senior centers out in Imperial.
Now, Moon is just opening a senior connection at the Tapestry facility,
I have heard about this.
and we just went over the other day, and it's going to be a very nice facility offering activities for seniors as well as some pool activities.
Mm-hmm. And where is that exactly?
That's over in the old Embassy Suites
Okay, okay.
location.
And is it connected to any particular organization?
The
or-
Moon, I think the Moon Park District
Moon
is
Park, okay.
sponsoring
All right,
it, so.
we need to maybe
And
try
it's
to-
free to everybody, so.
If you reside in Moon, do you have to reside in Moon?
No, if you're 55 and older, so they've opened it up to anybody.
And when are they opening?
They're already open.
They are?
Yes,
We need to make a connection there, yes. Thank you.
okay.
I got a couple questions. Do you have a will type, people to help you drop a will?
Through Neighborhood Legal Services, so through the legal counseling at the senior centers, that would be the only option that we offer as far as
Okay.
power of attorney and wills.
And who does the oversight on abuse of this stuff, your programs?
The Pennsylvania Department of Aging. We are mandated by the Pennsylvania Department of Aging, and we have very close oversight with them. So it's all through the state.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you. Make sure you grab some of the